Hello and welcome to the channel. My name is Armageddon. Today we're going to be featuring a Brawl video with Grumgully the Generous as our commander, as part of our series of Brawl videos featuring commanders from Throne of Eldraine. Grumgully was powerful in Eldraine Limited because of how he buffed non-human creatures. And Grumgully can be powerful as a commander because putting +1/+1 counters on your creatures just for casting them is pretty strong. What you want to be able to do is cast Grumgully, followed by another spell that creates non-human creatures on the same turn, to immediately benefit from Grumgully's ability. And the best way to maximize Grumgully's ability is to cast spells that create multiple creatures. That is, to go wide with a token strategy. I've broken the deck down into categories, so let's take a look at each one, beginning with our mana acceleration. As with pretty much any green deck, we have at 1 mana such staples as the classic Birds of Paradise, Delighted Halfling, Elvish Mystic, and Llanowar Elves. At 2 mana, Gallagreater's benefits if multiple creatures enter under our control each turn, and we can often enable all 3 of its triggered abilities at once, creating a tapped treasure token for ramp, putting a +1/+1 counter on the greeters, and gaining 2 life. Meanwhile, both Incubation Druid and Orochi Merge Keeper add additional mana if they have +1/+1 counters on them. Leafkin Druid taps for an additional green mana if we control lots of creatures, while Tender Wild Guide can create a token copy of itself with its Offspring ability, and can put additional +1/+1 counters on itself as an activated ability. Meanwhile, the new Twitching Doll from Duskmourn gets nest counters whenever we tap it to add mana, and late in the game can be sacrificed to create an army of spider tokens. Goblin and Archimancer discounts all our spells, while Underseller Myconid creates sapling tokens when it enters or dies. Circle of Dreams Druid adds more mana the more creatures we have in play, while Rulik Mon's Warren Chief can either ramp us or create goblin tokens when it enters or attacks. Our next category consists of our token generators. Crashing Footfalls can be cast for free after 4 turns with Suspend, while Swarm Shambler creates insect tokens whenever the opponent targets a creature we can control with a +1/+1 counter on it with a spell. Battlecry Goblin can create attacking goblin tokens when it attacks if we enable pack tactics, and can enable its own ability by pumping all our goblins. While the new Seer Slicer Goblin from Foundations make goblin tokens at the end of our turn if we attacked. Saproling Migration can create 2 Saproling tokens, and can be kicked late in the game to create 4 Saprolings. Fable of the Mirror Breaker, one of the best red cards ever printed, makes a Goblin Shaman that creates treasure when it attacks on the first chapter, provides card selection on the second chapter, and transforms into Reflection of Kiki-Jiki, which pairs extremely well with our creatures with abilities that trigger when they enter the battlefield. Urabrask's Forge can be a game-winning play if it goes unanswered, while Hordling Outburst, Beetleblack Chief, and Goblin Gang Leader all create 3 creatures from 1 spell. The new Sylvan Scavenging from Foundations either puts a +1/+1 counter on a creature, or creates a raccoon token on our end step, while Iridescent Hornbeetle can create multiple insect tokens each turn. Esika's Chariot creates 2 cat tokens when it enters, and copies a token we control when it attacks, while Spore Swarm creates 3 Saprolings. Goblin Rally creates 4 goblin tokens, while Siege Gang Commander can sacrifice goblins to deal 2 damage to any target, and enters with 2 goblin tokens as well. In this deck, it is easy to reach the City's Blessing for Tendershoot Dryad, which buffs all our Saproling tokens if we do, and makes a Saproling every turn. Ogre Chitterlord creates rat tokens when it enters or attacks, and buffs all our rats if we have at least 5 of them while the Chitterlord is in play. Gruff Triplets creates 2 token copies of itself, and each surviving copy gets bigger whenever one of them dies. Although the new Somberwald Beastmaster from Foundation's Jumpstart is a human, which means it doesn't pick up a +1/+1 counter when it enters if Grumgully is in play, it creates 3 non-human creature tokens which do get counters from Grumgully. Howling Giant adds 9 power and toughness, or 12 with Grumgully in play when it enters, making 2 wolf tokens, while Hornet Queen makes 5 creatures from just 1 spell. Finally, Song of Totentans can often win the game on the spot when it is cast. Next, we have spells that provide card advantage. Stocking the Pantry can draw cards as we put +1/+1 counters on our creatures, while Connecting the Dots can put a ton of cards into our hand in the late game as long as we are aggressive. Audience with Trostani can draw us a lot of cards, as we have at least 18 differently named creature tokens in the deck. Mouth first creates a Hippo token, and can then be cast as Feed out of the graveyard, drawing a card for each creature we control with 3 or more power, while Red Cap Gutter Dweller can sacrifice other creatures to exile cards from the top of our library, which we can play that turn. If we untap with Bonehorde Dracosaur, it is an absolute house as a 5/5 flyer with first strike that exiles 2 cards from the top of our library, which we can cast until end of turn, and can create treasure and dinosaur tokens. Finally, Elder Gargaroth can draw a card when it attacks or blocks, or gain its life or create beast tokens instead if our hand is already full. Our next category consists of our payoffs for going wide with tokens. Team Pennant can be equipped to creature tokens for just 1 mana. Impact Tremors pings the opponent for 1 for each creature we control that enters, which is great with spells that create multiple creatures. Woodland Champion and Wildwood Mentor get +1/+1 counters on them for each token we control that enters, and the Mentor can buff another creature when it attacks. Ferocity of the Wilds buffs our attacking non-human creatures and gives them trample, while General Krayet, the Boltbringer, a new card from Foundation's Jumpstart, acts as Impact Tremors, pinging the opponent whenever other creatures enter under our control, and enables its ability by creating goblin tokens that are tapped and attacking whenever other goblins we control attack. Sandstorm Salvager, even though it is a human, creates a golem token when it enters, and can put +1/+1 counters on all our creature tokens, giving them trample as well. Parallel Lives double how many tokens we create, while Doubling Season not only doubles our tokens, but also our +1/+1 counters. Finally, we have some value spells and a bit of interaction. Heroic Intervention protects our permanents from sweepers, while the Thrash half of Thrash Threat acts as removal, and the Threat half creates a beast token. Arlen Cord buffs a creature or makes a wolf token, transforming into Arlen embraced by the moon when she does, and in that form, she can buff all our creatures, deal 3 damage to any target, or if we reach her ultimate, turn all of our creatures into removal spells. Titan of Industry can either create a 4/4 Rhino token, destroy an artifact or enchantment, gain us 5 life, or protect a key creature by putting a shield counter on it when it enters. Pest Infestation destroys multiple artifacts or enchantments and creates lots of pest tokens, while the new Goblin Negotiation from Foundations deals damage to a creature and makes a number of goblin tokens equal to any excess damage dealt to its target. Our mana base has a few basic forests and mountains, along with Fabled Passage and Prismatic Vista to search them up. We are playing dual lands that mostly come into play untapped under most circumstances, or that provide value when they enter, including the new Thornspire Verge from Duskmourn. We're playing all of the fetch lands that search for forests or mountains, and they can also find our Cinderglade, Commercial District, Sheltered Thicket, and Stomping Ground. And then Command Tower, meanwhile, is a must-have in any multicolored Brawl deck. We also have several utility lands. Castle Embereth can pump the whole team, while Den of the Bugbear is a creature land that makes attacking goblin tokens when it attacks. Sokenzin, Crucible of Defiance, can be channeled to create 2 spirit tokens with haste, while Boseiju, Who Endures, can be channeled to destroy an artifact, enchantment, or non-basic land. Argoth, Sanctum of Nature, can create 2/2 bear tokens, while Colony Garden creates a plant token when it enters. Drannith Ruins can put additional +1/+1 counters on our non-human creatures, while Karn's Bastion can proliferate, adding even more +1/+1 counters to the team. Fountain Port and Murex can create creature tokens. Fountain Port can also sacrifice our tokens to draw cards. And finally, Plaza of Heroes can be sacrificed to protect Grumgully or other legendary creatures from removal. So that's our Grumgully deck. Now it's time to take it into the queue and play some games. On the play, we've got some ramp in our opening hand, 4 lands, so we can fetch Commercial District on 1 with Wooded Foothills, and if we see a land on top, we can put it into the graveyard, because we don't need more lands right now. No 4-drops to ramp into with Leafkin Druid, but I think we keep this. Over Gargaroth, I'll keep that. Opponent also ramping with Birds of Paradise. And then we'll play Grumgully. Unless we draw 4-drop to ramp into. Opponent with Cold Steel Heart. Elven Farsight. Keeps 1 on top. It's not a creature card. Alright, Stocking the Pantry is a good draw because that means we can use all of our mana this turn. And then next turn, we can either... Alright, 6 is a bit annoying. Alright, that is a problem. Now we can't attack with Grumgully. So I think it's Elder Gargaroth. Which Mono Green should have a hard time dealing with. And then hoping to draw removal for Innkeeper's Talent with Elder Gargaroth. Plays Mossborn Hydra. Turns it into a 2/2. levels up Innkeeper's talent. Places the counter on Mossborn Hydra. Alright. Thrash was a good draw. And so let's see here. If I destroy Mossborn Hydra, they can just get it back with 6. By discarding a land card. Opponent is impatient. But maybe that's fine. Because otherwise Mossborn Hydra is going to get out of control pretty quick. We can play Thrash at instant speed. Draw a card. Spore Swarm. Alright. Now, I would love to play Impact Tremors before playing Spore Swarm. And then we can play General Creat and still hold up Thrash Threat because Leafkin Druid will tap for 2 mana. And then I think what we do... Oh, except they have Ward. Okay, that was a mistake to play General Creat. Alright, so... Opponent levels up Innkeeper's talent. Oh, they drew a land for Mossborn Hydra. Okay, that was a misplay. We should have thrashed it. I don't mind Mossborn Hydra attacking. No blocks. We'll draw a card with Stalking the Pantry. Crashing Footfalls. Too slow. Let's see here. How much damage are we doing? We get rid of 6. Oh. I don't know if opponent conceded out of impatience, but whatever the cause, I'll take it. On we go. On the draw, we've got Leafkin Druid and 3 lands. So 3 lands and ramp, I think that's pretty much what we want in our opening hand. General Creat again. So let's keep this. And then Verdant Catacombs can look for commercial districts. And I'll keep land on top. Colony Garden does come into play tapped. But it is a land. Opponent has 3 lands, plays Arcane Signet for ramp. Mountain, Leafkin Druid. And then I think, assuming Leafkin Druid survives, it's Grumgully and Colony Garden. Opponent can play Gisa and draw. Ramps with Solemn. Alright, Misty Rainforest. I think we still play Colony Garden because I don't have another play after Grumgully. And then let's see. We'll have 5 mana next turn. There's Geese and Droll. Mills Herald of the Dreadhorde and Fleshbag Marauder. Plays Blade Stitch Scob. Also milled 2 lands. So Fleshbag Marauder makes us sacrifice creatures, so it's a good thing we've got this plant token. And then I think it's just Goblin Rally. No attacks. And then next turn we'll have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Opponent plays Herald of the Dreadhorde and Ornithopter of Paradise for more ramp. So we can play Hornet Queen on our turn. Impact Tremors makes me want to play Beetleback Chief. Alright, we're short a basic land for Cinderglade, and I still want more red, so let's fetch Stomping Ground here. We haven't taken any damage from opponent, so I think we can afford to do that. And then, just in case opponent removes Leafkin Druid, I'd have to tap Leafkin Druid anyway. No attacks. There's Fleshbag Marauder. sacrifices Herald the Dread Hordes, they mass zombies. Plays Laboratory Brute. So they've got Eternal Skylord and Herald of the Dread Horde in the graveyard. Fable. Could play Fable and General Creat. I think Hornet Queen is the play though. Alright. Now, if we attack with everyone but Grumgully, they block Beetleback Chief with Gisa and Giralf. Block a token with Bladestit Scab. Block a token with Laboratory Brute. So that's 4 tokens getting in for 8 damage. So I think we wait to play attack with everyone until we can play General Creat the Boltbringer. And then maybe hold up Heroic Intervention. So I could draw Grumgully. So I could play Grumgully, General Creat. Still has 3 mana, plays Wayfarer's Bauble. Opponents, I'm a little surprised, is attacking. Alright, so we can afford to take this hit, because I want as many attacking creatures as possible. So no blocks. Definitely want to draw a Grumgully. Oh! And opponent obviously feels like they're going to die to an Alpha Strike, which hopefully they were. Let's see here. Play Grumgully, trigger Impact Tremors. Play General Creat. Trigger Impact Tremors. I could play General Creat first, so that way Grumgully would have triggered General Creat, although then the General wouldn't have picked up a +1/+1 counter. But then it would have been opponent 16 from General Creat, 14 from Grumgully. Attack with everyone. General Creat triggers, creating a Goblin token that's tapped and attacking. That's a 2/2, so they go down to 13. And then they're taking 8, 11 in the air, so yes, they would have been dead to an Alpha Strike. Alright, so there we go. Our deck did what our deck is trying to do. On we go. On the play, I've got 3 lands and Leafkin Druid, so I can ramp into a Seek's Chariot on turn 4. So I think we keep this. And then we'll scry, look for lands. Cinderblade is fine. opponent leads with Norn. So this could mean that opponent is playing a more aggressive strategy than what you usually expect to see from Prosper. I think we don't mind aggressive strategy. I think that's a game we can win. Yeah, and that's looking more likely. They're tapped out. They should have attacked with Norn first. Oh, that was a mistake. That was a mistake on opponent's part. They should have... It's not like the Leafkin Druid was going to kill Norn, so now they've lost Norn for nothing. So we'll ramp into Seeker's Chariot. The cat tokens don't pick up +1/+1 counters, but I think it's better to be mana efficient. Okay, opponent searches up Demonic Bargain. So they still have 76 cards to choose from. Alright. I think I would have liked something other than a land here, but... Audience with Trostani would draw 2 cards. This cat picks up a +1/+1 counter. Opponent takes 6. I could cast Audience with Trostani. Maybe I should in case they've drawn a board wipe. Or selected a board wipe with Demonic Bargain. Because otherwise, Audience with Trostani is going to be absolutely useless for us. At least this way we draw 2 cards. Well, it was still kind of useless because we drew lands. Well, whatever opponent searched for, they preferred to play Prosper. Prosper hits a land. Alright, Sandstorm Salvager. You can play Hornet Queen. That could be a bit risky. But we do have a Seeker's Chariot. So let's go ahead and do that. They could double block Grumgully. Opponent chumps with Prosper. And that's enough. Alright. Okay. So we did our thing. On we go. On the play, Tulane, I can't tell you how many times opponents have played Tulane as a control deck when, based on his abilities, he's a creature synergy deck. So we'll see what we're up against, what kind of deck opponent is playing. Hopefully it's a creature one, because that's a strategy we're better at. We've got Delighted Halfling this time. We were 3 for 3 with Leafkin Druid in our previous 3 games. So we've got ramp, we've got at least 3 lands, so I think this is a keep, and we can play Grumgully on 2. And Goblin Gang Leader on 3. We might not be able to play Gang Leader on 3 because Temple of Abandon and Fabled Passage come to play tapped. Well, there's Connecting the Dots, so that gives us a play for turn 3. And then we'll play Temple of Abandon, because Connecting the Dots is only 2 mana, so we can attack with Halfling and Grumgully. Windswept Heath. I think it's still Temple of Abandon. And then let's scry first before playing Connecting the Dots. Goblin Rally. That would be fine to draw off Connecting the Dots, so we'll keep that. Wonder what our other card is. And then we'll be able to play Tendershoot Dryad. Opponent ramps, finds plains, draws a 4-drop, Spore Swarm. I think I'll fetch Mountain with Fabled Passage because we can get Forest with Windswept Heath. Spore Swarm is an instant. Oh, I don't want to attack with Halfling. Opponent has something they can do at instant speed. And that's enough for opponent. Tendershoot Dryad. Alright. We'll take it. On we go. On the draw. Opponent playing the new Thurid from Foundation's Jumpstart. A horse synergy deck, I'm assuming. They don't have ramp, but I'm not playing enough ramp spells that I'm liable to have one in my opening hand every time. And I think we keep this, and we'll keep Sapling Migration, to cast after we play Grumgully so we can trigger stocking the pantry. Opponent leads with Healer's Hawk. Goblin Rally. I think we'll play Temple on 2. Opponent doesn't have a turn 2 play. We draw land. So I'll play Temple of Abandon and Scry lands to the bottom, which we do. And then we'll have to fetch a land with Windswept Heath that comes into play untapped so we can play Grumgully. Don't mind seeing a combat trick. Draw another land. We'll play Grumgully. Hopefully opponent doesn't have removal for it. And then I think we want to get onto the board, so I'm going to play Sapling Migration. Oh, Smothering Tithe. How obnoxious. Okay, I was going to play Sheltered Thicket, but now I'm going to play Argoth, so I can pay the 2 mana for Smothering Tithe and still cast Sapling Migration. Opponent is up to 30. Stocking the Pantry, not great with Smothering Tithe in play. Drawing extra cards is a bit of a problem. Opponent plays 3rd. Also a Flying Lifelinker. It's a 2/4. And then, unfortunately, I think we let the opponent get a treasure because I want to cast Goblin Rally here. Seer Slicer Goblin. I only have 1 basic land, so Cinder Glade comes into play tapped. I kind of want more red, so I think we're fetching Stomping Ground here, even if it means we take 2. Grumgully can attack, but just bounces off 3rd and they gain 2 life, so there's no point. No attacks. Alright, we're taking 7. I think we let them have their treasure so we can cast Doubling Season. But we're definitely in bad shape here. We can put opponent down to 8, 10, 12, 15. So we put them back down to 20. But we can't attack with everyone because otherwise we take lethal on the way back. Opponent has outflank. So opponent only goes down to 25. Opponent goes up to 30. We take 8. Alright, well, unfortunately, if we'd been on the play, and it turns out we probably should have had some ramp after all, looked for ramp, but if we'd been on the play, things might have been different, because opponent would have been on the back foot, instead of them being able to hit us multiple times and whittle us down with their flyers. Anyway, tough break. We'll try again next round. On we go. On the draw, only 2 lands and no red source. Delighted Halfling makes red for legendary spells. And both of the red spells we have are legendary. Incubation Druid adds mana that your lands can produce, so right now that's only green. But I think, even though we only have 2 lands, we are in the draw, so we get that extra draw step, so we're more likely to hit land 3. And we can cast the spells, or eventually get to the spells in our hand, so I think this is a keeper. Opponent waived, so we'll say hello back. Leads with Temple of Enlightenment. They're playing Castral the Wind-Crested, so a bird deck. Storm Shambler is fine, but we want Incubation Druid. Now, unfortunately, Delighted Halfling only taps for colorless or... Alright, Calney Garden. Still green. They can play Grumgully or Incubation Druid. So Grumgully is the most efficient play. Opponent hits land 3. They haven't made any plays yet. Plays Ledger Shredder. Leaf King Druid. So we have hit land 3, but we still haven't hit red mana, which is a bit of a concern. And then Incubation Druid taps for 3 mana. We got 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can cast our 7 drops already. Opponent plays Watcher of the Spheres. So they're blue-white flyers. Triggers Connive on Ledger Shredder with Thrumming Bird, which they get the discount for from Watcher of the Spheres. Discards Glimmer Burst to put a counter on Shredder, which attacks. So I can play Hornet Queen. Didn't hit land 4, which is a bit of a bummer. Yeah, Hornet Queen is probably our best bet. Howling Giant does have reach, but Hornet Queen makes multiple flying blockers. And then Grumgully. I don't mind trading Grumgully for our Thrumming Bird and Watcher. Alright, I'm hoping by that reaction that opponent does not have an answer to these 5 death-touching flyers. So we want to hit land 4, preferably red source. Opponent plays Ishai, Ojutai, Dragon Speaker. Alright, there's land 4. It is a red source. It does come into play tapped. It doesn't show what partner does. But with Ishai's ability, you don't want to cast too many spells per turn. We also get punished by Ledger Shredder for casting multiple spells per turn. So I think it's just Howling Giant here. And then I don't mind opponent attacking back with their flyers because we've got way more power and toughness on the board. Opponent also missed their 4th land drop. They take it. They're down to 8. Opponent plays Unbreakable Formation. But they're not doing enough damage. They do proliferate +1/+1 counters on all their creatures. But I think at 8, we have too many creatures for them to deal with. Yep. Opponent wishes us the game, and that's enough for them. Alright. Sure, we had fun. Alright, so that'll do it for our Grumgully deck. As you can see, going wide with Grumgully in play is great, because you get just so much extra power and toughness. And as our first game, which was a loss, showed us, you really do want to have ramp in your opening hand. It didn't seem that important, but it actually really is, because that made it easier for us to make explosive plays, like playing a 7-drop on turn 4, that kind of thing. Anyway, So I hope you got to see how good Grumgully can be. Thanks very much for watching. If you'd like to see another commander from Eldraine in the next Brawl video, or a commander from another set, let me know in the comments. If you thought I should have different cards in this deck, or if I should have made any plays differently, also let me know. Thanks again for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Do please like and subscribe, and have a great one. Bye.